Airris needed a little bit of help from Jasmine this weekend in his preps for the husband pageant.
And my oh my, we got an app for that. You can find this puppy at any Costco near you. It'll help with all the ash that you would ever have. Thank you, and you're welcome.
And welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about Lifetime Network's reality-based TV series, Married at First Sight, season number 16, episode number 16.
Before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe. Please click that notification button so you know when we upload new content. And please send us your comments. We appreciate you and we thank you.
Man, that was cold-blooded.
And his ankles look a little bit like he was stomping up forest fires.
No, 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 no.
Where I come from, my people, we would oil you down from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet because the struggle was real.
Alrighty then.
But we shall continue.
This episode began with the couples preparing for a weekend getaway retreat in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
And on the way up, we see Jasmine. She said she prepared questions for Airris. She was driving and asking him some questions she had on a card, and most of the questions Airris thought was negative. They were the first to arrive at the house, so once they got there, they got the best room, and Airris set up so that once the couples came through,
He played bartender.
he made them shots to get the weekend on and popping.
Mm-hmm.
One of the activities planned for the couples that very evening was that they were going to have a husband's pageant.
Right, and all four husbands were going to participate, and Jasmine would be the MC of the event, and because she was the MC of the event, she had an inside track to getting her husband across the finish line first, shall we say?
Yes, and she was telling him about his confidence and not to be too cocky, how to answer questions, etc., and etc. And that's when we saw Jasmine greasing Eris up. I thought like, whoa, they're getting tighter. And you gotta keep those elbows and knees and feet greased up or moisturized, which is the more sophisticated way of saying it, but I'm from the old country, so I would say, like my mother said, greased up.
Well, let the church say amen, y'all. Anywho, he got the assistance that he needed for and all the advice that he needed from Jasmine. He did well in terms of making a first impression, a good first impression as the first one coming out.
First contestant out the gate, he
Yes, he
looked
was,
good. He was confident and brash.
and he was so confident.
He asked Nicole or is it Gina to take a photograph of him because he got it like that. And they were amused. He answered his questions well.
Hmm.
And Jasmine was proud of her husband. She kept repeating that, my husband. She was good with how he presented himself. And eventually he won the contest.
Yes,
And he was crowned, given a sash. And once they got to their room, he thought that this was the best thing he ever did, and he wanted to do some more.
apparently the title of Mr. Couples Retreat King wore well on him.
Yes, they looked like they were getting closer.
Yeah.
Jasmine had a glow, and she wasn't giving anybody the evil eye, or she wasn't fermenting something in her mind. You know, when she does that, she start mean mugging you and all that other stuff.
Not the mean monkey.
So all was well in her world.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
Then the next day they got up, right?
the next day they got up.
And
Aris evidently promised that he will do meditation with her, but unfortunately he forgot.
yeah, that's his daily routine to start the day to get himself centered, balanced, and prepared for, what lays ahead in the day's task and efforts. So he had made the wifey a promise, and he almost forgot it.
Well, he did forget, however, Jasmine. spoke up, and instead of pouting and
Catching a tune.
simmering and catching a tune, she's told him about himself, and he decided to, you know, take on a guided meditation. So saw them on the deck,
Hmm.
and they're going through their positivity and Zen vibe.
Yeah, starting off the day on the right track.
So another activity planned, they went to some sort of sporting location,
They
and
went
you
indoor rock
see,
climbing. They also went down a dodgeball pit or something where they threw dodgeball back at
right.
each other, and they also had like a little trampoline pit that they could flip.
Men are preparing a meal for the ladies.
Yeah, later on in the day, they
Right.
got off by themselves, just like the ladies did, and began to chop it up while they were prepping food for later
Right.
on.
And the ladies were on the deck talking about their relationships and
Mhm.
having a drink.
Right.
Chris asks Airris how he's doing.
Eris responded by saying, "Hey, look, things are day by day. We're getting better, we're growing, but don't know quite where things will end up. But we're taking it one day at a time."
Yeah, and he also said that he's looking for a spark. Now, I'm not sure what that spark is, but by time everyone sat down at dinner, he started thanking Jasmine for going through this process with him.
Yeah, because he knows that he hasn't always been the easiest person to kind of go through this process with because he hasn't been open. He's been pretty closed off and not really, uh, shall we say, as connected and involved with the process as he could have and should have been, even though he was encouraged to do so recently by Devon Franklin rather, and
Right.
Dr.
And
Pepper.
and he's trying to do better to create an open space for her.
Right.
And she starts crying. And maybe it's me. I still think Airris um is still not into Jasmine because maybe 5 minutes ago he said he's looking for a spark. And did she think he was professing love? Airris, for one thing, has always affirmed who he believes she is. So
Hmm.
this is not the first time he had some good things to say about her.
No.
So my thing is, why is she crying? She's heard that before from him, and does she think that he's professing love?
Well, maybe she hadn't heard it from him in a group setting.
Is
Uh,
that what it is?
Maybe, I don't know, but I think the moment was clearly overwhelming to her because maybe because it was unexpected.
I just feel personally that Aries has a problem with intimacy. And at that particular point, if you want to get across to the person, you at least look at them. And at no time did Aries um, get Jasmine's full attention. I think it was more for the cameras and for the people around the circle than for Jasmine. The man has not professed anything else but what he has always been saying.
Right, but maybe that was a more of the encouragement that she was expecting from him.
Perhaps,
And
perhaps.
you know, it just came at an unexpected moment and in a way that she maybe didn't anticipate.
I can see that happening because the doctors did ask him to create a safe space
Hmm.
for her so she can start speaking up for herself.
Right.
But at the same time, this man has not been engaging Jasmine for 16 episodes. And for now, we're 9 days before decision day, and he has not expressed any kind of affection. He has not expressed even that he likes her. If this was decision day, Jasmine would be telling this man yes.
Okay.
I think nothing he has done prior to has swayed her from taking care of herself rather than being concerned about Eris.
Yeah, I think that Aris, from his vantage point, begins to understand that time is running out. There's going to have to be a decision made. If I'm going to be able to make an authentic decision, then I got to put in the work. In this marriage that I put in on my job, on my job as a software designer or whatever he is, and because of that, he has made the promise to Dr. Pepper and I think maybe even Devon Franklin to say, "Hey, look." I don't want to have any regrets after this process is over and we've decided, one way or another, not to stay together about the effort that I gave prior to.
I think something may have occurred the night of the husband pageant.
Pound Town, like Clint said,
Why you have to say it like that, my brother?
because you said the way you said, you
This
said you
is
think
this
something
this
happened
is allegedly because Airris had to leave the location
before
before
the
everyone
'80s party.
else.
Yeah, the '80s party because he had work, right?
Right, some appointment or something. And we see them at his car and they're hugging each other and they seem a little closer and she got some sort of glow about her.
Yeah, and she was also, quite candid in admitting that she was kind of sad to see him go in her confession.
Right.
So,
And throughout the day when they were doing the activity, she was in a really joyful state.
oh, so you think,
So I'm not sure, this is allegedly, but
had that glow about her, huh?
you know, you know.
Yeah,
Fortunately, I think Aris is still not feeling her the way she thinks he should. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
but she feels like he is at least making an effort. She acknowledged that his effort has been noticed by her, and that she's encouraged by his effort. So we'll see.
Well,
We'll
being
see.
encouraged 9 days out and after being dragged for 8 weeks and with a repetitive refrain that I'm not into you, I don't know how that good that is for her self-esteem.
I don't either. I won't speculate that far.
All right, my brother.
Hmm.
And so say so done. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and we'll see you in the next bit.
Stay greased up, by the way.
I'm not being paid. This sucker right here.
Solves a world of ash problems.
You will never be accused of stumping out forest fires. Ash, be
Has no
gone.
chance.